Finding the geek within.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Starstruck, where we review episodes of Stargirl. This is episode 11, and I am Cleve.
I'm Michael.
I'm Stephanie.
All right, and today's episode, we had, I feel like, quite a bit going on with quite a different amount of people.
There were a lot of things happening.
A lot of pieces moving.
A lot.
Mhm.
You guys will be so happy. So happy.
Are we gonna open up with my favorite segment? Let's talk about Mike.
We're gonna open up with let's talk about Mike.
Yes. So let's talk about Mike.
Yeah. I mean, the first time ever, it hit me hard, man. Because I always like have it going on when I'm watching it and I'm eating. And he said, "Why won't you ever tell me anything?" And I was like, "Man, that hit me in the gut." It was just like, what a shitty moment to be living in right then.
That's what he's trying to tell you in his acting out.
He got me. I finally am there.
As soon as that played, I was like, this will get Michael. This will turn Michael around.
Yeah, and then he was like, because he barged in, but it's almost like just his personality. He barged in, he was like, "Is that your dad? Are you guys getting a divorce? Can I know some stuff? What's happening?" And he still got his job. So I feel like
He's
kudos
still
to him
paperboy,
there.
which Pat completely forgot about.
Right. Is Pat not as great of a character as we thought he was? Because
He is. He's just a really good stepdad, and he's coasting on dad mode. Like, he's so used to being good to Mike that he's just kind of coasting on it right now.
I mean, to be fair, one of your kids needs you more than the other one. But also, he's almost completely neglecting this other child. He left him at a football game. He didn't even know he still had a job. What are you doing up? Paper route. Your idea.
There's a lot of neglect happening.
Yeah. We're probably the same reaction, though, as Pat. If someone came in and said, "Hey, is that your dad? Are you getting divorced?" Like, go away. Not bad timing. But then immediately felt bad because absolute neglect.
Pat did react correctly. I think he did a quick 180 and was like, "Oh shit, I'm being an ass."
Especially when I slept in a car with you just the other day. Just the other day, I was like, "I'll sleep in this car with you, Dad."
And your kid just really, really, really wants to know what's going on.
Right.
I feel like that's fair.
I mean, because at this point, everyone's in the loop except him. That makes me feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And his life is in trouble, too. If they know who Courtney is, they know who Mike is.
Cleveland made this prediction early, I believe, in it. And I think that is what's going to happen. I think he is going to end up being the one with the pen. I think next episode, stuff's going to go down, and he's going to find that pen in her room because he's going to go in there trying to figure out what's going on with everybody. And I think he's going to find that pen.
Yeah, we need all hands on deck. I can see that. So
superhero family.
Right. So Brainwave just spilled all the tea with no hesitation. He was like,
memories back.
He was like, I know this chick's first and last name. I know her family. Let's get her.
There were times where Brainwave was like, "Oh, I kind of get it." Like, they were trying to make it seem like, society was mean to him, so that's why he's mean to society. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, why not? This episode said any kind of sympathy you might have had for that man is gone.
This man said, "Look, I killed my wife and child for this dream. And you're hung up on some chick you're not even with?"
Because you're trying to get the poo nanny.
Let me tell you, Brainwave might be the scariest of them all. With this episode, I was like, he's the most ruthless. Because at least Icicle loved his wife. He lost her. And
he's doing this whole thing for her.
Right. But Brainwave's like, "You're in the way. Drown."
I'm surprised he didn't immediately go try to kill Courtney anyway. Because I feel like Icicle might be kind of in charge, but Brainwave is going to be the character who is like the Courtney of the villains, but smarter and more controlled.
And straight up just read your mind, no
filter. Like, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to read it.
No moment for you to maybe tell me, and then me read it and be like, you lied. Just straight up okay, cool. Like they already had the conversation down.
No F's given.
Oh, it was rough.
So we got more information on the Shining Knight. Yeah,
Yep,
Shining
Justin.
Knight. Yeah, I enjoy when he goes to the guy and he goes, "I'm looking for a horse with fire in his eyes and victory in his heart." And the guy goes, "I told your creepy ass to get out of here."
Poor Justin.
That was great.
Just
I did enjoy when Justin comes in and he's with Beth and Rick and Pat, and Pat goes, "Justin, is that you?" And he's just got his name tag that says Justin on it.
Hey, there were lots of Justins.
Come on, Pat.
Hold on, that's the part that you noticed, because the part that I noticed, Beth goes, "Oh, that's our janitor!" Like excited to see him.
Well, you know.
Also, that was hilarious.
Beth-
Like she's
damn
just
it,
so
Beth.
positive.
Beth didn't have a lot of friends. Beth was kind to the janitor. Nobody else was.
It's just like she was excited to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like-
definitely.
like he was an old friend.
Like when you see your teacher at the store in elementary school. Like it was that kind of excited about a janitor at a garage shop in high school.
She's so sweet.
And then he saw Pat like in this halo angel glow in the sky. The weirdest image.
It reminded me of Grease. Did you ever see
Ever.
the movie Grease, Cleve?
Yes.
Stephanie, I assume you've seen it. I don't know. It feels
Obviously,
like it felt like it was up your alley, but that's what it reminded me of was Grease, like a beauty school dropout situation.
It was terrible. Like we spent no money on this. We just put a green screen behind Pat and a flashlight under him and just put it up.
And give him some glasses and a beanie, and he's Where's Waldo.
Right. Yeah, it's such a terrible design, but you have to stick with it because it's comic accurate. And then we see a mystery man with a locket on a bus coming into town. Guess who that is?
Oh, you mean Garbage Face McFuckface? Oh, man.
New Starman wasn't her dad.
Oh, man. So we finally get the reveal that Starman is not this girl's father. It's like a Maury reveal. And I felt like I was curious where it was going to go because we did it early. We ripped the Band-Aid off real fast.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be like a end of episode type thing. He was going to walk up and maybe be a shadowy figure. Nah, we straight pulled the Band-Aid off and said, this is
because we had
ready.
to spend an entire episode showing you how shitty of a person he was.
Right. After spending we spent an entire episode showing how good of a guy he was trying to be.
Yeah.
And then we ripped the Band-Aid off again.
He's actually a garbage monster.
Which is also comic accurate, so I knew... I didn't know if the show was going to go this route. I thought they might have made her related to Starman, but definitely the better story, I feel.
Yeah. So now it's like, why is she Stargirl if she's not Starman's daughter? Because all of these people are just children of
Right.
superheroes or villains, except for Wildcat,
she's
Beth,
worthy.
and Courtney.
Well, that's
For a while, I thought the locket was going to be like the
I
thing
see
that
what
for
you're
some reason made the staff work.
Oh, and also now...
because he made a big deal about it being made by a jeweler for the stars, and he said the word stars, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, like they made a big deal about that locket, and then she couldn't use the staff, and I was like, well, maybe the locket has something to do with it.
And then Barbara doesn't want to leave now? You were huffing and puffing, ready to pack a bag a minute ago, and now... same day you're like, I can't leave you guys behind.
Yeah, suddenly Barbara, I think that they started out wanting Barbara to be like a bad guy.
Mhm.
Not a bad guy, but like come off poorly.
Yeah.
And then now she's not.
Also, what school is letting Courtney just come and go as she pleases?
I used to come and go as I pleased.
But you were a bad kid.
That's why I was
Courtney's
bad
a
boy.
good girl. Also, is Luke Wilson left-handed? Because he shakes everybody's hand with his left hand. I don't
He
think
is.
everyone knows that. Left-handed people, when they shake my hand, really throws me off. So we get the dad reveal, and then Courtney storms off because she's still this delusional child. And Barbara's like, I just want to make sure you're okay. And she's like, I'm not. And then turns around and walks off. And it's like, I want to talk to Pat, which I'm sure hurt her feelings. Which was also interesting that she chose to speak to Pat.
I think Barbara understood. And I think Barbara's kind of an absent parent anyway right now. She's really just thinking about the high school D.
Well, aren't they both absent parents?
That's fair. But
To
at
their
least-
own kids, though. To the
Pat-
other kids, they're good.
Yeah. But I feel like Barbara's kind of fallen off the mic wagon lately too, though.
Well, her boss could be trying to murder everyone.
That's fair.
I like that the dad was like, let me just walk with her for 5 minutes. And then they walk for a while, and he's like, let's have lunch. Let's have breakfast for like 30 minutes. Like, hey, man, this kid's got to go to school. Like, you're really killing the time. And then try to bond with her and love her. And then he really doesn't.
But he
Nope,
does. He loves her.
Just came to get those lockets.
What do you mean?
He loves that cash.
He didn't just come for the lockets, guys. He was there for love.
I mean, he did, because he told
And
Pat
to
he
get to know
never
his
planned to
daughter.
come back anyway.
Yeah, the green money love.
Yeah.
And then Justin shows up with Pat and Beth and Rick. And Rick doesn't believe the story. Like, enough weird things have not been going on in Rick's life.
Right. Like, he didn't just see Solomon Grundy in a giant cage and then fight Brainwave and watch Brainwave Jr. die in front of his eyes.
Right.
Like, come on.
How dare you guys expect Rick to believe things?
So everything that you have going on, like, if Courtney was like, this is a time traveling night, I'd be like, shut up, Courtney. You probably don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But when Pat's like, hey, this is who this guy is, you believe Pat.
You respect the Pat?
Courtney's vouch means nothing. Pat's vouch means everything. And then we got the 7 soldier joke again, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out if it's a legitimate thing in the comics?
Nope.
Sorry, I apologize. I meant to look that up, and I never got to it.
Yeah, so like we were saying, Trash Dad, he didn't even hug her bye. Like, just got the locket that he said was
Invaluable?
yeah, that his mother gave him. So he's pawning that. And, Courtney finally realizes that, just like in the comics, that Pat's been more of a dad than her father's ever been. And then we have the Pat-Dad conversation, which was a real exciting moment. Jennifer was watching it and was real pumped about it. I was like, I enjoy. He was like, "You're lucky I'm busy." That's what I thought. I'd continue to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, Papa Pat laid it down.
Yeah, the whole speech was nice. He was like, I really care about this kid, and I don't even know why you came. Just don't ever come back. And that's what Stephanie was saying. He was like, yeah, I didn't plan to, so don't worry.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a really solid episode, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a lot of criticism for it. I think that
good storytelling.
It was
finally.
Good storytelling. Right.
I hope
think that
disillusions Courtney just a little bit.
I think that it solidified the fact that I've been saying that iSchool's been trying to get it in this whole time, and you guys all at first didn't think so. And
I mean, we gave you credit on that. We gave you credit on that in the last episode. I don't know if we're gonna continue. If we can bring it up on episode 12 too, if you need.
I'd like it every episode.
The validation. But you also said that she wanted him, and she doesn't.
I think I agree with Stephanie on the last episode we did. That had she actually like run away from Pat and then went to Icicle, I think that would have been a thing.
Yeah, but that is not what happened.
It didn't. You were accurate. So
you have to take both pills, sir.
That's fair.
Like, it might have been a mistake later that she would have realized. But it could have been another storyline.
That would have been interesting for her to have ended up sleeping with him and then
finding out
what he was, or even have working it out with Pat and then finding out who he was. And then Icicle knows everyone too, and I thought he was pretty ruthless, but he's got
his ruthless as that Brainwave.
He's got his sickle on, yeah.
Brainwave came to lay it down. So I'm gonna murder everybody. He said, and I got more powers because I killed my son, so I'm gonna take over more people now.
I killed my son.
Now to half the country.
I killed my son and took his strength.
Shit, man.
Can you just call and have a computer unlocked from a mystery voice?
Would you know
and
now?
The history deleted?
The history undeleted, possibly.
Over the phone?
Over the phone?
I mean, obviously it's some kind of person that is well versed in there.
Maybe it was what's his name? No, because it seemed like
it wasn't the gambler. It was
it seemed like someone who worked there. Yeah. That would have made sense if you called
like
the
some
gambler.
IT guy, some downstairs. What happened to the gambler? Where has he been?
He's busy.
Gambling. Kentucky Derby's happening right now.
I feel like he's done his part of the plan, and he's just kind of waiting for everything to work out.
Although I was impressed that Barbara even managed to delete her history since she left her computer unlocked.
Right. But this is a valuable lesson, everybody out there. Do not look up things on your work computer because who knows?
Don't look up porn while you're using your work computer.
And so the staff doesn't work for Courtney. She goes and tells the gang and they're sitting there at lunch again, just yelling that she's Stargirl. I don't understand how the villains. Episode 11 are like, wait a minute, Courtney Stargirl? She screams at the top of her lungs.
Basically announces it. She might as well be skywriting it in the sky.
Right. Then she finally takes responsibility for some things, which maybe growth. We'll see. She takes not credit. She takes the fault for the death of Henry and Magic Boy, whatever his name was.
No, Magic Boy is his name now.
I'm fine with that. Coach and Magic Boy. That was the comic I would read. And oh my god. Okay, so obviously it was gonna work out at the end, but did anybody get tired of the staff doesn't work for me crying that we were doing?
I got tired of a lot of it.
Yeah.
She was
I was like, this better be a better storyline than it's just she's sad.
the staff
And it wasn't.
The staff doesn't know. The staff knows that I'm not really his dad. I'm like, you think the cosmic staff is like, I got duped by your hypothesis? Like, I feel like it knows more than this.
And you didn't even think you were Starman's daughter until the staff lit up.
Right.
So, like, why would the staff think that you were Starman's daughter just because you happen to have a dad abandoned you on the same night that Starman died?
And then Pat was like, the staff knows better. Give it a chance. He walks out of the room, says 5 words to Barbara, and then Courtney comes back and goes, yeah, it's not working. I'm like, well, you gave it a hot minute. Pat had just gotten up the stairs. Can you focus? Can you really try? Can you bring in some inner strength here?
Nope, she needed her mom and Pat, apparently, to watch her.
Which was
Right.
a weird scene to me. I guess it's supposed to be like, they believe in me, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so if I could be a director for a minute, what I thought was going to happen was they were going to be standing behind her, supporting her. She was going to hold the staff, and it wasn't really working. And then each of them were going to put a hand on her shoulder, like, we're here for you. And that would might have given her confidence. That's not what happened, though. She just picked it up, and it worked.
Yeah, it did. It just worked.
So the storytelling is not there for me on that part. Also, so
I mean, she's overconfident most of the time, so she just needed, like, the tiniest a bit of presence.
so Justin the janitor Knight comes down. That's his full name, and he's like, the queen has risen, which I guess we'll figure out what that means later. But Jennifer brought it to my attention. I don't think Courtney knows anything going on with this janitor.
No.
So
No.
he
A weird
just-
janitor showed up in her basement.
in his basement.
Yeah.
And she's like smiling still. I'd be like, who the fuck is that guy? Light coma. Like,
Yeah.
Right, her overreaction to almost everything, and there's a creepy janitor in your basement, and you're just like smiling like it's no big deal.
oh god, Icicle's minion. Light coma. Done.
She's just on a high because the staff worked for her, guys.
And it worked so bright. Pat was like, oh, my eyes. I can't even look at the staff.
Power of love.
And then Icicle decides, I'm going to go ahead and kill everybody. It's the right thing to do. Brainwave's like, cool. I'm glad you decided, so I didn't have to make that decision for you. Because I was basically going to do whatever the fuck I wanted. So I'm glad you're on the same page as me. And then I wrote this down. I said, poor Mike. Mike didn't even know what's happening, and he gets a hit put on him too.
Right, like he's specifically called out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get Mike. We don't want to leave him. What is it, Michael?
You gotta end the bloodline.
End the blood.
If you don't end the bloodline, they're gonna come back for you.
But
And
Pat
that
didn't have any
stripes you bloodline.
powers. So I mean, Mike is probably the least scariest person.
Right, he's a
have.
sidekick who builds a robot, and Mike has no.
You're literally talking about an entire
Attention
group
span.
of children who don't actually have powers and have taken magical items. So he doesn't have to have powers to be a threat.
But he has to know the powers exist.
Oh, he'll find that Green Lantern and he's gonna shove it right up Icicle's ass.
That would be interesting. That is the last character I would think to give him is Green Lantern.
Yeah, that character doesn't need to be ruined anymore.
If anything, you save him by making him Mike. I'd watch that
Has been
spinoff.
redeemed a little bit, just a little bit though.
So, final thoughts, anybody? That's all. We basically ran through everything I had.
Yeah, and I didn't have a whole lot of deviation from like it just was a good episode.
Yeah.
It was well done.
Henry's still coming back. He's still not dead.
You know what? Now that they're not related, I think he might be dead.
He absorbed his powers. He did. No, he might come back.
I don't know. You don't think Brainwave could sense brain activity?
That's fair too.
Or like he doesn't seem like the guy who's the super villain that's like, I'm gonna leave that body there.
Right.
He seems like the one
He
who's
made
like,
sure.
I'm gonna make sure this one's not coming back.
Yeah, and Ito would have probably gotten
The remains.
the remains.
That creepy guy. Can I have the body? Sure, man.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, I guess.
Cool. Can you stand on that side of the table, and then I'll stand on this side? You have little scales coming off you, and grossing me out.
I'm gonna need you to socially distance, even after 2020.
You look like a newt, and I need you to go away.
You know what's so funny is, because Stephanie says social distancing. You're supposed to say, "Hey, I think we should put space between each other," and I always want to say, "Hey, can you back the fuck up, please?" Because you're less than 6 feet away from me, and I don't like it.
Right.
Yeah, especially with your scaly face.
All right, so that has been today's episode. Pretty good episode, both ours and Stargirl's. If you have any comments or anything that you found interesting, please let us know in the comments down below. You can find us on our social media. We have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter. They are all Friendship Supreme, except Twitter. Twitter has no eyes in the word friendship because all eyes are on the YouTube channel. You go to YouTube, you search Friendship Supreme. We are there. We also have our main podcast, just titled Friendship Supreme. Check it out. New episodes every Wednesday. Michael and I are starting to stream on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays starting at 10 and Sundays at 11 p.m. Central Time. Good job today, guys. I think everything...
Pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew. Boop. I have been Cleve.
I'm Michael.
This is Stephanie.
And just because the staff worked for you when you thought you were related to a superhero doesn't mean that it won't work for you when you're not related to a superhero. It's a mentality thing. Bye.